welcome to Reed's Spider-Man Crawl Space Edition. Please check us out at the SpidermanCrawlspace.com. Well, everybody, I'm here to, of course, do my triple Thanksgiving weekend piece here of course, Amazing Spider-Man 78 Beyond one-shot, of course, the Amazing Spider-Man 79, and of course, finally, the conclusion to Symbiote Spider-Man Crossroads. So we're going to kick this all off right now here with Spider-Man Beyond 78, which is the one-shot with the Daughters of Dragon by McKay and Carlina. So the pros, I have to say this is actually a really enjoyable issue. We really get to see the point of what exactly Misty Knight and Colleen Wing are actually working with Ben Reilly and the Beyond Corporation, as well as seeing some of the extra pieces of actually why they're undercover but still work for them. I really love the characterization that is done by McKay here. McKay's got really just a wonderful handle, not only of female characters but also everybody else. Even though Ben Reilly really isn't in this issue very much, he really gets to the pieces of exactly why he's training with them, pieces that he needs to increase. It's very similar that actually happened during Dark Reign when and Spider Island, when Peter Parker was working with Shang-Chi about his different ways of martial arts when his spider sense was out. So I really like that. And the story is actually a lot of fun. It's kind of a Halloween special kind of issue as they deal with a haunted mansion with the Obsidian Star character manipulating the different areas and the things and all the horror stuff that's actually happened to the Avengers over the years. So it's a lot of fun, and you just love the relationship between the Daughters of the Dragon. I mean, I've always loved Colleen and Misty, and I think this is a really great issue, and it's really nice. But that kind of leads to the cons. Why, when it says Amazing Spider-Man Beyond, we're so focused on characters who really aren't that big of Spider-Man? I mean, like I said, Ben Reilly is barely in 6 pages of this, and we get, of course, Director Danger a little bit more for using the daughters to, of course, get Obsidian Star to get his power source. So why it works as a great little piece, if this was a one-shot of Daughters of the Dragon, I think it was all for it, but unfortunately, I don't really see how much it does. Why it does have them defeat Obsidian Star, getting the power source, and turning it over to, of course, Monica Rambeau, to get a little bit more of the information of that subplot coming to the storyline. I feel like this is more of a money grab, and why it has some nice characterizations and a really great way to use for Misty and Colleen here. It really doesn't add much to the story except the continuing subplot of them being undercover and the fact that Monica is, of course, trying to figure out what's going on with the Beyond Corporation, why they need superheroes, and of course the fact when they get the Power Star energy from Star Obsidian, they find out it's actually something from American Chavez in her dimension area. So, what's going on there? So for this story here, I'm going to actually give it a B-. I think if it wasn't for the characterization and my love of the Daughters of the Dragon, I would give this much lower, but it's almost a money grab. So it's a B- though. Moving on to the main issue of Amazing Spider-Man Beyond, issue 79, aka 880. Let's go into the pros with this. Well, first of all, I think Ziegler just nails the characterization on this. He really gets into who Ben Reilly is. The moments between him and Mary Jane at the hospital, why Peter is in a coma, is fantastic. I really like the pieces between Ben talking to Peter on this. It's really well done. I also like some of the characterization that's going on between Ben and the Beyond Corporation as they upgrade his suit from what happened previously. And of course, how he talks about using the personal time, but at the same time, since Spider-Man is, of course, property of the Beyond Corporation, you can't really, as they say, have off-the-clock moments, too. So that's really Colleen. So as Ben's starting to see, there's more drawbacks to him being Spider-Man for the Beyond Corporation than previously. And I also like how Craven actually gets into the storyline. He's very manipulative and very smart of how he gets in, getting Ben Reilly here and breaking into the Beyond Corporation, using the different tactics, using a scientist, as well as using his different areas, and how he bypasses the suit's new defense systems that we're not expecting toxin entries through the pores of the darts that Craven uses to get Ben. The battle scene is really great because not only a battle of fight scenes, but also the fact that Craven's done his research on Ben's new suit and is able to not only damage the suit, but also get through its new defenses that were just recently upgraded, and to use a Beyond Corporation member to break into the penthouse and take out one of the board members. It's actually well done, and actually previews how the new Craven 79, if you want to call him that, since he's technically a son clone of the original one, really gets into it. But that kind of leads to the con. Why is Craven even going after Ben? He talks about getting into him, how he's using the spider and how to use the different areas and how he uses the Beyond Corporation, but he seems to be really obsessed with Ben Reilly in general. We don't really quite get what's going on. Why the illusions and the drug paraphernalia he uses on Ben Reilly is really interesting, really kind of grotesque. We don't really get why he's attacking Ben just because, I mean, as much as I would like the rest of the story to actually make sense, why is he attacking Ben? He saw him out of last issue on watching him on a date with Jeannie, and now here he is putting everything together to actually break into the Beyond Corporation to get Ben Reilly and drug him to, as he says, now you will face the areas. don't get it. But otherwise, thanks to the characterization and the artwork here by Dogler, I'm actually giving this a B+. I really did actually enjoy this issue. It was really nice. It actually's got some great characterization. It actually shows Kraven being a very threat, and also how he outsmarts the Beyond Corporation's high-tech services, as well as how the fact he studies his prey before he attacks him on Ben. So that's nicely done. So a B+. So let's get into it, because I always save the best for last with the Symbiote Spider-Man Crossroads by Peter David and Greg Land. So let's get into the pros. Well, they don't slow down. They immediately get right into the action with Kanara, the Queen of Norn, having the main Norn Stone and using the different powers. And basically the fact that no matter what the Eternals or the Hulk thread thinks that her new power set, she is just taking everybody over. And as it's corrupting her power, Kanara is getting really crazy, and the fact that the only way to do this story is to actually trick Carnella, which is what I was thinking of. Something I really like, Peter David really does a great job of showing Peter Parker using his brain, as well as great characterization with Black Cat as she figures out with Doctor Strange. If you can't pull Peter and the Hulk from the land of Norn, maybe I can go there, which of course she uses to save him. And of course the great part is when they find the Norn themselves, which of course are the witches, all that power corrupting her with the Celestials. What do you think that's going to do? And they use her powers to make them see in the future, and they think that Carnella is actually going to wipe them all out because she'll go mad with power and destroy their land and all she's supposed to be the queen of. So then the fact that they actually pull this cool little piece, bringing Odin in, and the fact that Odin actually comes in here. That's another thing I really like about Peter David is, right, he really gets into a lot of the mythology and the continuity. Because one thing that's always been constantly talked about in the Thor series is, why doesn't Odin just go to the bad guys and wipe out them in the 9 realms if he's the all-seeing person? The truth is there's rules to the different lands that they have to rule on. So the fact that this is what gets them to actually find out that Carnella is going to destroy everything in her process, and the fact they use that little loophole for, of course, Odin to not only rip the power from her, but then destroy the Norn Stone himself, because he can actually control it and destroy it, knowing the fact that it has more damage in it than the original stone. So it's well used. And of course, even though the Eternals are used here to kind of correspond with the movie, Peter David makes them extremely relevant. He has the characterization, of course, some great jokes, including the Hulk punching Icarus, saying he was going to. And not to mention how it fits in the storyline, getting it all set up for Peter David with him sent to the Crossroads, which led to his original run and Hulk back in the late 80s, early 90s. So this is extremely well done here by Peter David. The artwork by Greg Land, say what you want, but it's actually well done. The different mystical areas, the emotions, the jokes, everything. This is actually a pretty well issue. So it actually goes extremely well. I don't really have many cons for this. I think the only con is the fact that we got to wait a while for another symbiote issue here, because of the Ben Reilly Spider-Man miniseries that's going to start in January will be taking up the place for the Symbiote Spider-Man storylines, which I understand, and J.M. Demantis is writing the book. But otherwise, this is a really good storyline. I think Peter David and Greg Land really pulled this off, not only in continuity-wise during the Black Costume saga, but also the fact that he was all in his own backyard with his Hulk series too. So he does this all well done without really damaging everything, gets everything else, does a great job of the 80s Spider-Man. I'm giving this a solid A+. It is well done, from the jokes to the continuity to the storyline. So it is a great issue. If you have not checked out the Symbiote Spider-Man miniseries by Peter David and Greg Land, highly recommend you pick these guys up, guys, because I don't think we're going to get another one until sometime in 2022. So that's all I have to write today, guys. That is it. I want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving, or if you don't, at least an enjoyable 5 days off for the next couple days as we start wrapping up 2021 to 2022. I'll be back soon with my next, of course, reviews as we continue with Spider-Man Beyond, finding out what happens to Ben Reilly and Kraven the Hunter. So for more information, guys, please check us out at the SpidermanCrawlspace.com. Check out our podcast. Check out our various social media. Look for us on Discord and more. And on that note, everybody, that's it for me for November. I'll see everyone in December on the Crawl Space.